Welcome to the SODAX June tech update. SODAX is infrastructure for modern money. And in the tech update, we basically talk about the tech, what's coming, what is new, what has been delivered, and how is the SODAX system improving month over month for our partners to tap into. With me is Fez, and Fez tells me what's up every month. So Fez, what's up with you?
Hey David, no, it's early morning. Actually,
Yeah.
got an hour extra sleep in due to a meeting cancellation, so that was good. So feeling more refreshed halfway through my coffee,
You
but
look fresh.
otherwise good. Apart from
Yeah.
markets, but I don't even pay attention anymore. It's just something that's in the background.
This is
What
a
about
tech
you, David?
update. This is a tech update. Like, I don't look at markets. Just
Yeah,
look at the
well, what
tech.
are markets? It's about the
We're
tech. That's right. That's right.
we're in it for the tech. So I
Yeah.
know it's all kind of like crashing. I'm hearing it from all angles. Um, Everyone I speak to, people in the streets, yeah, crashing hard. And you know what? Is it because your man, Bitcoin holder, Sailor, sold his first Bitcoin?
He sold 32. But it's actually not his first. He sold before to readjustments during tax time.
Hmm.
But yes, this time because of the stretch product that's giving you, some ludicrous amount of yield, um, and people are being very skeptical of it. So now when he's sold 32 BTC, everyone's flipping out. But
Yeah.
again, all these are just narratives. Like ultimately, there's a view the market was still due for its correction, and
Mm,
that's what's playing out.
yeah.
But what would I
Oh
know,
well.
man? I'm just a tech guy.
Same, bro.
Charts are dead to
Um,
me.
yeah. Pull up a screen. Give me some cards.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. 10 minutes, we said. So it's going to be a nice, quick update. I will take everyone through. I'm making this bigger. How's this look, David? Is it easier to read now?
It's getting easier, but we can go bigger.
Oh, okay. Okay, I think we'll leave it. I don't know. It's silly how it doesn't let me make this bigger. Okay, anyway, let's dive in. I've already updated the card, so there's information. So some of the stuff has moved to completed. So let's go through the stuff that has been done. Let's flip it. I'll talk about the SDK v2. So that's been done. You've kind of seen marketing campaigns, you've seen updates, you've seen a big push on this front, which is great. Now, nothing really more to add apart from it is super simple to move from V1 to V2, especially we've done a lot of work optimizing the skills to help agents kind of migrate from the old to new. And yeah, that's a huge piece. I think we're upgrading. I know Balance has already migrated, and they should be launching any day now with V2. Well, what will you notice? Nothing. Like end users won't actually notice anything. The biggest piece now is it's simpler, more streamlined. Code is just better, and then all new functionality will come through with V2, right? So I think
Yeah.
Bitcoin stacks, quite a lot of chains have been introduced. And new tokens. Most new token pairs are available through the V2 SDK.
Dope. I went to Balanced today. It had been a while. I was just going to swap some stuff around, and it looks good. The
Oh, it's
V2,
good. Yeah,
like
yeah.
like
I
I
go there regularly.
I'd seen it before, but I think I just didn't register, or maybe I was just in trying to. I had to go into V1, do some legacy stuff, but now I was just fully on V2, just moving around, and I was like, "This is pleasure." And yeah.
Yeah, highly recommend. Yeah, the same. The money markets, just everything. It's beautiful. Okay, then so I've moved this to completed. Then the next thing was these liquidity modules. Now, this has also been finished and delivered. Yes, and essentially, again, these were. Now I kind of jumbled this up a little bit, but uh, there was liquidity modules, which is the modules that connect to the AMMs that give us live pricing, basically.
Mm.
They were just old and we needed upgrades on how we did that. And there's also execution modules, which is the actual execution of, when the USDC goes to swap it for something in these AMM. So there was actually two pieces of work here, and they're both done and now in production. And the execution piece, so this liquidity modules gave fresh data, so we don't get stale data. It gets better, so we don't lose in case on a swap, we don't lose money. And then the execution piece was actually a complete revamp of how the solver scales if it has to execute more than one trade at a time. Yep. So the big difference was originally in its design, it had one executor that just parallelly scaled, and that was good, but I think there was some bottlenecks there. At some point it could cause issues. So the new design is it's a single thread. Each executor is like single, so it doesn't scale in that way. We scale it with new executors. So we create, so at the moment, I think we got 6 or 7 executors per chain. And the perks of that is they become very fast. And we instead, there's never going to be a bottleneck because they're single threaded. We could introduce 500 executors and they will all run efficiently, processing swaps at the same time with no issues. And that's again me putting a just simplified take on the solution, but that's essentially what I've kind of captured into this whole piece, which has been delivered and went live in production with that at the moment.
It's the stuff you run into when you scale up. Like it all works if you're doing one or two trades, but then when you start like processing volume, you find yourself writing execution modules.
Yeah. So on this, now that I've given the explanation, the next one I want to quickly touch on that's in the same. So I explained the execution modules piece. It's been delivered here. It's done. There is now a new piece of work. So the example I just gave, we have like 5-6 executors per chain. Given the current volume, that's more than enough. But the issue in the current setup is if we hit, like if 7 swaps come in at a time or 8 swaps, and I'm giving a hypothetical, okay, so then the executors have to finish up the existing swaps to pick up the next swap. And in that time, prices could change in pools, etc. So it's us that take the hit instead of the users, which we don't want users, right? So the way we scale this at the moment is we create new executors, fund it, monitor it, and that's how we create it. The first iteration, that's how it's working at the moment. But what we actually want to happen is we don't need to fund it. We don't need to do anything. Like when the solver is hit or getting close to capacity, it automatically buffers new executors. Like it just spins up. And new executors are essentially like wallets that trigger the execution, essentially. So we're building that piece at the moment so that we don't need to have, we don't need to monitor 500 different things and has it funded, does it have the, no, now it will automatically scale up and automatically scale down based on activity. So this is kind of the end game with this piece, and this is in progress. In terms of timelines, actually, it's quite far along. I think I was in stand-up yesterday, and it's already up for review. So I think by the end of the month, if all goes well, we should have this feature in place as well. Okay, back up to the completed cards. New tokens. So this is done. I think I can't remember the exact number, but we have a full suite of new tokens, essentially like the top 20 tokens at the moment per chain that have had substantial volume in the last 90 days. And now that we've got this set in, we'll keep adding more and more tokens. Anything on that, David?
Yeah, I saw the tokens kind of landing. I was wondering when the next batch drops, or if is that a perpetual thing? Is it always big batches, or is it one here, one a day?
It can be, at the moment, it'll be big batches, I think, because we have a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah.
But again, I think it's just a matter of we've got it out. I think balance again should be any day now. Shipping, get a few of the existing partners moving on to tokens. Like a few things. It's like we're scaling as well, right? So every time we launch new stuff, it's like give it a little bit of time to marinate production data, everything's stable, then keep pushing. Rather, we could do 1,000 things at once, but it causes issues in production, and we want to have now minimal downtime, if any, for situations like this. So yeah, and then the other part is like if partners have requests based on what they want, like we just then ship those components, so it doesn't have to be a big batch. I think in between, I don't think anyone realized, but we shipped a couple of those 10% yielding stable coins for bound, etc., because the partners wanted it. There was no fanfare. We just introduced it in the SDK, and they consumed it and serviced those assets. So yeah, kind of bit of both ways. Okay, fee capture. So this is something, if you remember, I talked about like revenue. There was issues on how at times the solver was taking additional fees in terms of instead of like processing whatever it needed to as fees, it was not managing it correctly, which was a bug that we were working through to fix. We have fixed, it's in production now. All the revenue data and the fee data is correct and flows through the right way. So this piece has been closed as well. So quite a lot has been delivered since last month. In fact, it was quite stressful. I think middle of the second last week of May is when all these updates that got delivered, we were trying to get them out week by week, but they kept bundling into this big update, and it all kind of went out together because they became interdependent on each other. And yeah, so all of those out. That's why we've been able to close quite a lot of work. The fee capture improvements led to reporting infrastructure. So now we have internal dashboards. There's still no external ones, I know, but the internal ones are reporting accurate data across the board in terms of volume, partner volume, revenue, across all channels as well. So we finally got all that sorted. One thing I did note here is, yes, we don't have, but now partners that use us that have their own protocols like Balanced and HANA and Houdini, but Houdini's more of an aggregator there, but they can now kind of set up their own reporting to display for their products. Remember, like we're providing the infra, so it's not necessarily up to us to show all the partners' volume. They now have the ability through these set of APIs we provide and they have access to create dashboards, and that data is going to be accurate because we fixed all the core issues there.
Good.
Okay, so that's there. Okay, then let's go through the in progress, and I've again put vaults. So this feature is done actually yesterday. External audits after the fixes are done. I have audit sign off on it. I think at the moment, the only thing pending that is just being reviewed is the SDK. It's done. I actually tested it yesterday. It was quite cool. On ETH, just in the testing phase, it could come down, but there was 11% using ETH, because remember, it's an LST vault, so it loops your ETH with staked ETH. So at the moment, getting 3.3% if you're just staking, you're holding an LST. But if you go through the vault at the moment, it was 11% during testing, which was cool. So that's it was good to see some numbers, because at the moment all I've been doing is kind of hearing and developing, and this is how it'll work. But it was good to see a little bit of a number of what kind of APR to expect in the early days. So with this, what are we in? I reckon it should be available in the SDK by middle of the month. I'm pretty confident of that. So that'll get introduced, and we'll work with partners to get that out so users, can actually use it.
Yep.
Okay, that's the next path splitting. So path splitting and prime algorithm are the same. So work's done here. We were using it with near intents. We had some issues, not with prime. There was just issues, when we did all the updates. So then when you start to troubleshoot issues, it's like, okay, remove things to figure out where the issue is. And so we tested it. It was working. We got a few big swaps come through, win some volume there. But then we've removed it for the moment to identify what the issue was with near intents, which has all been fixed. And now, again, this is going to get reintroduced into near intents and go through testing next week. So development is done. Everything I'm mentioning at the moment is actually testing in production. That we got it in and we've removed it. Then we're working through other fixes, and now we're going to introduce it back into production on the near module of the solver, near intents module of the solver. And if all goes well next week, the following week we'll bring it into production and introduce it to the core solver, which then everyone benefits from.
Yep.
When, balance anyone when you go to do quotes. If they're bigger amounts, it should optimize and split the quote across different pools to give a better rate.
Cool. Yep.
Splitting. Okay, so this is another piece of work now that is being worked on as of towards the end of the last month and through this month. So we've delivered the SDK, the V2. Now, when the people integrate the SDK, they go in, and then in the SDK, how do you create a transaction? How do you create a swap? How do you find an error? How do you do that? They go, and it's quite easy to find these methods, calls, etc. through the SDK. It's exposed rather than reading the contracts. That's what makes it easier. The API is what happens is we've introduced the API that then can take care of these steps that I mentioned. So you essentially go, okay, you integrate the SDK, you hit this API with your quote or submit your swap request. At the moment, that's why it's 2-click, because it's not, it'll come in phases. So you integrate the SDK, you submit the swap request via the API, and then all those flows, it needs to get sent to the relayer, the swap, etc. Check to make sure the transactions process. Is there a retry? Are you going to get an error? They don't need to do any of that. They just submit it through the API. The API goes through all those steps and does it. So essentially, there's a bit of back-end work that happens that then makes this flow much easier, which in turn makes integrating even simpler. So this was always planned. It was get V2, get the upgrades in, and then start introducing these. And we've called it 2-click. And this is a little bit of an internal joke, because I'm always going, look at all these people shipping 1-click APIs. And, we were in a workshop a few months back, David, and having it with the team. And I was like getting quite agitated, going, how have they got these one thing? And then everyone's smiling at me going, go Fez, go try and do something. So I went inside, get the 1-click API. I'm trying to do it. I'm 5 clicks in. I'm still not getting anything. I'm like, well, this is just clearly a lie. It's not 1 click and you're done. So everything for us became 2-click APIs, because yes, we're going to do it in 2 instead of 1. But jokes aside, that's what this piece is. And we will create these APIs for every module, right? So at the moment, you heard me very loosely explain the flow. The API gets introduced to take care of that flow. Bridging has a flow. So after this, we'll work through the 2-click bridge API. Money markets have a flow of how it works through the SDK. Then we'll create the money markets API. So when we're done, we've just simplified the stack through API calls.
Yeah, I just need to know when it's done, because I've been telling a lot of people in Miami that we have swap APIs and bridge APIs and money market APIs, so I kind of need them.
Okay. Well, it is actually at the moment. The code's done. It's being reviewed at the moment. I'm hoping by middle of next week, end of next week, we should get that. It should be reviewed and going through final testing. So yeah, I think close to middle of the month. Again, this should be. Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
worry.
It's on high priority.
I always say coming soon.
Yeah, good. Oh, thank God.
But
It is.
it's valuable. It's a valuable piece of infra. Yeah, it makes it
Yeah.
much easier, and people, builders like building with APIs like that. So it seems like a no-brainer
Well,
for us.
and that's why you see these two-click bridge API, two-click money API, which I've tried to give a brief explanation. Okay, then we have more DEXs being introduced. Now this prime, part of path splitting to be and prime algorithm to be effective, it needs more pools and it needs more DEXs, right? So because essentially, like say you're buying, I don't know, ETH, right? So the prime algorithm will go, okay, where can I get like $10,000 worth of ETH on Ethereum? And it'll look at, Uniswap, Curve, I don't know, it'll look through a couple of pools and all the USDC or certain amount of pools that hold ETH to see how it can route. But what makes it even more efficient to find better paths is if it can look at Uniswap, Curve, Fluid, or basically more DEXs on the chain that have the same asset and very liquid pools. If we are the solvers connected to it, then the prime algorithm can go, okay, I can split through these 5 channels versus just these 2. So work is ongoing constantly to integrate more AMMs, and at the moment, so on Ethereum, we're integrating, Arbitrum and Ethereum. The Fluid DEX is work is in progress at the moment. The base, so Aerodrome is integrated. Now, in each of these, they have there are 2 pool types. One is your standard pool and then your stable swap pools. Like that used to be very much old days. It was Uniswap and Curve had the stable swap pools, right? But now all the DEXs have that formula of your typical pools, which is say your native asset with a stable coin or native to native, native to token, or your stable to stable. But they're different curves, they have different price points and they're kind of a different pool type. So for Aerodrome, we've done one set of pools and it's in staging at the moment. If all goes well, either on the 8th or the 15th, it'll get released. And we're working on the stable pools for Aerodrome on base. So that's, nothing more to add there. So we've got that in flight. We've got Orca on Solana so that we have more liquidity sources on Solana. That is also in staging, being tested. And I'm thinking again that'll go on the 15th of June. Did I add more down here? Sorry, let me check. No, I didn't. Yeah, I'll have to add a few more lists. There's a few more AMMs getting integrated at the moment as well. So, but at the moment, these are the ones in progress. Fluid, Aerodrome, yep. And then the next piece is we're adding xStocks support on Solana. So let's add an S there. I loaded the right one where I can edit it. Yeah, so xStocks support is for stocks. It's issued by Kraken and a few entities. Essentially it's like USDC, right? Circle, they lock USDC, they mint it on chain. So there's xStocks, the entities that do that. They lock stocks and then issue it on chain. And one of the chains, it's on Solana, Ethereum, that's on a few. At the moment, we're just going to support Solana. So users will be able to swap any asset into these stocks. on Solana. And these particular stocks, the way they work, the whole there's not we're just kind of sourcing it, right? So this entity, and this is how they work. It's just like USDC belongs to Circle. They control how the mint and burn, security, all of that. Same thing. It's all supported by the Kraken team that manages it. In fact, you would know a bit more. You met with them, but on our side, like one thing I loved about this asset is, when holding, if the stocks get paid dividends, like it doesn't matter that it's on chain. Like even if it's on chain, you still get those dividends based on the stock you're holding. So quite excited to get this support out and then kind of expand on in the entire range they offer. At the moment, we'll just have a small set of, I don't know, 10 or 15, but then work to expanding.
Yeah, but the big ones, I mean, any partner who is with the SODAX SDK can now bring Tesla into their app, offer Google to their users. I think it's pretty cool. Like yes, you could argue that I want 200 of them, but starting with the big ones, the fun ones, like I'll hold some Tesla. I was meeting with the xStocks team yesterday, actually, in Amsterdam. There's the Big Money 2020 event going on. Like it's more finance, but all finance is looking at blockchain now, right? We've got our regulation going the right way, and they all want a piece of the pie, and they're all trying to figure out, like, who do we speak to, what kind of stuff do we need, what infrastructure fits. So lots of side events, a lot of crypto blockchain oriented side events, and one of them was by xStocks, Kraken xStocks. So yeah, met with the team there and basically talk through what we're doing and what it's going to look like and what it actually means when like a cross network infrastructure project like SODAX integrates with these stocks, the way that we provide the access to the product across all these different networks. So yeah, it was pretty cool. So that was yesterday.
Cool. Okay. And then let me bring back. Yeah, I think that's kind of everything I've covered. Yeah, so there's that. I told you, so we're working through the 2-click APIs. In fact, one thing I forgot to update, and I'll have to come back to this, CCTP now is back, and this is also, actually, it may go live on the 8th, the solver release of the 8th. If not, definitely the 15th. So this is also something by next month. It's going to be in the completed column. And then one piece that I hadn't put on here, and work has just started, I will get a card up here, is CCIP. So now we have layer 0 integrated into the solver, finishing up CCTP, and we're starting work on CCIP at the moment, and CCIP is the chain link solution, right? So again, we're putting in all these solutions because then it enables us to move assets between chains. And since we're talking about xStocks actually use CCIP, right? So when we finish the integration, we will then be able to kind of go, hey, now the way xStocks have done, they've got this API now, and you can get a quote. So the solver can essentially get this quote from the API. There's work to do there. It's not just going to work out of the box. But once CCIP is integrated, the solver can get it. It can just then push the token and have it mint through CCIP, right? Like the solver can kind of do that if we need to, or there are pools at the moment. The solver is connected through pools, so essentially it can route through a pool if it's got a better rate, hypothetically, and then push it through CCIP and deliver it to one of the other chains that xStocks is supported on officially by Kraken, rather than using our standard or us wrapping it and doing, kind of creating an additional security risk, etc. And that's the core goal of why we've been integrating the various solutions into the solver, because it just enables the solver then to bridge the token based on what the issuer actually wants.
And there's enough work to do in cross-network solving and interoperability. Like, we don't need to also, reinvent the bridging, or there's big companies pushing out eloquent solutions, and we just leverage them in our product suite, I'd say. So that's good. I always mix them up, CCIP and CCTP. I did so yesterday as well, confidently mixed them up. But the Chainlink one, is it any project or product can essentially adopt the standard for the mint and burn across networks? Or is it, because you mentioned xStocks use that, but then the Circle one is obviously just USDC stable?
Yeah. How it works exactly with Chainlink, I haven't. I don't know exactly with Chainlink, but they go to the Chainlink team, and as if the Chainlink is integrated into those chains, they can adopt that standard to push it. The intricacies, like, guys have done the work. I haven't really looked over it, but that's how it works. It's more robust and it's very different. But like Circle standard, for example, they have their own. They've got their own that works through CCTP, which is based off the wormhole stack, Axelar's kind of solution. But they've it's Circle control there. That's what they released it, and they the attestation and stuff like that is all controlled through the solution they provide. And it doesn't include any other tokens, right? It's just strictly for USDC. Whereas like Chainlink and Layer 0, etc., is solutions for anyone and everyone to kind of adopt. And they're competitors, obviously. It's like you're a provider won't go, like xStocks won't go, we're compatible with Layer 0 and Chainlink. No, they pick which solution they feel is the better solution for them.
Yeah, fair. Okay, does that bring us to the end of the board?
That's the end. Yeah. 30 minutes, is it?
Excellent. Yeah, well done. This is us being very strict and corporate, aren't we? This is the end where we'll ask our listeners to like this one, drop a comment, tell us which stocks you'd like to see in the SODAX system, and we might just make them available as soon as we can. And share, follow, send Fez a thumbs up on many channels. Thanks for listening, and then we hope to see you on the next one. Fez, thanks, and have a great day.
Always a pleasure, David. Yes, I will. It's the start of my day, and you have a good night and go to sleep, because it's literally midnight. Okay. Take care, everyone.